this is a mindfulness practice. We have to practice it in order to reap the rewards. And we've been so conditioned in this age of distraction to go and distract ourselves in this kind of consumerist world of let me go online shopping, let me go on social media, let me do something else in this sort of capitalist construct that we live in, that actually, it can be difficult for us to do what is the best for us in these moments, which is just sit and be with ourselves and be with what's coming up.
Hey, I'm Tanya Wilkinson, and this is Death on the Daily, bringing the conversation about death out of the shadows and into the mainstream. Because along with birth and change, if there's one thing that's going to happen to us all, then death is it. And we're going to explore how death actually shows up for us on the daily in a multitude of ways, and how when we allow ourselves to accept and to be with death, how it can teach us a whole heap about how to live this life well.
Hey, and welcome to my solo Notes to Self episode of Death on the Daily. These episodes are all about integration. I go away, I do some journaling after my incredible conversations with my guests, and I come back into this space and I share my reflections with you. And these are reflections of what really feels alive in me after what I call my dead conversations. And what am I taking into my forwards path? As well as I might also be sharing a little bit more around my personal journey through whether it's death and grief or all of the multitude of ways that death and those endings in life show up for us. And so in today's conversation, I'm really, really rooting myself into my conversation with Jill Ritchie. And I can't tell you how expanded I was after that conversation. Jill is the most incredible coach because she really, really knows how to guide her clients into those really difficult and sticky spaces. And that really is where the deep and meaningful work happens. That's where we can really explore our fears, our shadows. But I know that we as humans, it's our human nature, it's inbuilt into us. This we can hold, but we live in an age of distraction that's told us to numb out, to disconnect, to fill our space and our surroundings with noise that takes us away from being with what's difficult. Here are the tools that you can root into that can really, really help to reconnect you into yourself, into your body, into the present moment, and into what is coming up and what emotions and feelings and experiences feel really alive in you, including those difficult ones. So firstly, and this is something actually that I teach I do this group workshop journey that's called Reset for Rest. And I talk about how, we put so much emphasis on the big moments of rest, the weekends, the holidays. Am I getting my 8 hours? Which obviously that is important. But actually we have many, many opportunities throughout each day to really, really root into what I call micro moments of rest. So this is where you literally just step away from your screens, step away from any noise, turn off any noise. And this is really important. There's actually 7 types of rest, one of which is called sensory rest. So really stepping away from all of the lights, the stimuli, the screens, the sounds, anything. How can you just step away from that and just literally go? And as Jill shared, set, if you need to set a timer, obviously set that timer, then step away from that phone. But take a few minutes to just be and to literally just do nothing except from connecting into your breath. In those moments, can you just step away and just sit and be and connect into your breath and keep bringing yourself back onto your breath every single time your mind wanders off. My second tool is nature. So we are humans of nature, and I love nature so much. And I believe that a lot of our stress load and anxiety really does come from our disconnection from nature. So a lot of my work is around helping people to reconnect to nature. How can we come back in to our true essence, which is us as humans of nature? And actually, nature is one of the quickest grounders in my experience working with my clients, and the science also backs this up. So how can you get out in nature to just ground yourself for a few minutes? And I obviously acknowledge, I live right near a forest called Epping Forest. So I acknowledge, not everybody's got a forest literally on their doorstep. But actually, for me in my journey, my business is called Green in the Grey, and it's inspired by the plants that grow through the cracks in the pavements. Because a few years ago, when I was living in a tiny flat in Brixton, I was watching a little chamomile plant literally growing through, there's a crack in a concrete slab in the courtyard of the apartment block where we lived, in this beautiful little chamomile plant. And I was like, wow, that is incredible. And actually, nature really grounds us through the perspective that it brings, the awe that it inspires. And there's just something so rooting of being in a space that, as Lao Tzu said, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And for me, when I'm running at 1,000,000 miles an hour in work, and this was particularly prevalent, when I was working in Formula One, I always rooted into nature. And that included when it was looking at a tree on a street in a city, or when I was traveling with the sport, outside of the hotel, is there a tree that I could stand by while we were waiting for our car? So I have a little 3A formula for being able to ground in nature. And the 3A's are: firstly, sink into awareness. Go out into nature and just bring in awareness. Come back to yourself, come back to your surroundings. Gaze around at that horizon, which is also for your nervous system incredibly grounding. The second A is appreciation. Come to appreciation for nature. Nature is incredible. At any time of year, it's beautiful. Find gratitude and appreciation for nature. And you might also find gratitude and appreciation for yourself in this moment. And then the third one is awe. Can you sink into awe? I find any nature awe-inspiring. I really zoom in on the details around me, of the leaves, of just all of the interconnections, how this ecosystem just thrives in abundance and in beauty. But also there are specific moments of the day when things get really awe-inspiring in the sky. So sunrise and sunset are two that I find really rooting and grounding, as well as when, evening comes, just staring up at the stars when I'm able to, when there's no cloud cover and I'm in a space where there is stars, obviously, with an acknowledgement that for some of us in the city, like I was for years, unfortunately, the stars are often hazed. But, we've also always got the moon. So, these little cues, how can you just look around you and just find appreciation and just really root yourself back into yourself through that? As you sink into those 3A's of awareness, appreciation, and awe, come back into yourself, come back into your body, and see yourself as a human of nature. And then the third tool is meditation. And we're going to end this podcast with a very short meditation that I thought I'd guide you through as part of my notes to self that I end each of these solo episodes with. And there is so much power to meditation, backed up, much the same as nature connection. It's backed up by reams and reams of science showing that meditation reduces our stress, supports our anxiety, supports our emotional health, helps us to sleep, helps us to regain our attention spans, which, if you're anything like me, has been completely destroyed by social media. Honestly, the benefits are endless, as well as crucially helping us to cultivate compassion and kindness for ourselves as well as for others. If you think about all of the anger and hate and wars and just horror in the world. And then, if I think about if everybody in this world meditated, how this could be a different world. And finally, in my notes to self, I thought I'd share just a little notes to self, and then I'm going to take us into a short guided meditation, one that you can come back to anytime. And with a note as well, if you're used to guided meditations that have music, I now actually typically don't put music to my meditations for the reason of inspiring that sensory rest, of allowing ourselves to just be in silence and just slowly cultivating that practice. So let's flow into it. So, in difficult times, when your heart is hurting and you found yourself immersed in social media and filling every second with noise, one breath at a time, bring yourself back to you. Put that phone down, step outside, take a deep breath into your heart as you come back to you as a human of nature. And to help you to come back to your true nature as a human of nature, I will now guide you through a short meditation that you and I can come back to whenever we need. So, as we start all meditations, get yourself comfortable. Sit with your back upright and supported, or you can lie down, whatever feels right for you in this moment. Just make sure you feel balanced between the left and the right. Make any adjustments because you are worthy of comfort. And whenever you're ready, you can, if it's comfortable to do so, gently lower your gaze or close down your eyes. Whatever feels right in this moment. And just starting by taking some deep breaths. We use our breath as our anchor to bring us back into the present moment. So take some deep breaths and connect into you. Bring all of your focus and your attention onto your breath and gently watch as it rolls in and out. And if your mind wanders off at any point, don't worry. Just catch it with no judgment and bring yourself back onto the wisdom of your breath. And I just invite you to continue with this gentle breath awareness as you now just check in with yourself. Check in and see, where are you right now in mind? Is your mind here in the present moment with your breath and with your body? Or is it off, dancing in the past of today or the future of what's to come? If it's elsewhere, can you just bring it very gently back into your body and back into the present moment? Call yourself back and set an intention to be here now, giving yourself the gift of your own undivided attention in this moment. And from your mind, now flow your attention into your body. And just see, is there anything that you notice? Perhaps some emotions or feelings, perhaps some tension, or you feel really energized and expanded. Whatever it is, just is. So can you sit with this? Can you keep bringing yourself back to wherever your attention is focusing into your body? And if there is some tension or difficult feelings, emotions. Can you just connect into your breath and allow that breath and that awareness, that undivided attention to just surround whatever's coming up? Gently keep bringing your awareness back into any of these hotspots. Just being with yourself in this moment. And as you just sit with yourself and breathe and keep bringing yourself back to yourself in the here and the now, can you notice if there are any subtle shifts in your body? Anything that's shifted that can be that lesson of the impermanence of everything. Even in difficult times, difficult emotions, this too shall pass. When we can sit with and we can be with what is, we can really ride those waves of awareness into a place of much deeper connection with self. So take another few deep breaths as you settle into this space with yourself, knowing you can come back here anytime, that you can hold it all. Taking another few deep breaths as you flow your awareness from body and breath really feeling that gift that you have just given to yourself. Feel what you've received. And whenever you're ready, you can very gently start to wake up your body, bring a little bit of movement into your toes and into your fingers. And whenever you're ready, in your own time, I invite you to just open your eyes and gaze around at your surroundings. If you're watching on the screen, don't come immediately back to the screen. Just gaze around. Gently ease yourself back in and then come back into this space. So that completes this solo episode of Death on the Daily. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that this episode, and I am here for you whenever you need it, whenever you just need to connect into that breath and that body. And wherever you are at in your journey, whatever feels alive in you, whatever is arising within you, know that I'm sending you lots and lots of love.
All of my gratitude to you for joining me for another Dead Conversation. Death on the Daily is edited by David Strutt. The music is Set Free by Katie Gray. And I am Tanya Wilkinson. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would be over the moon if you can rate, review, and subscribe. It really, really helps me to get the word out there. And if you want to say hi or to hear more about my work as a coach and death doula, including how I support my clients to navigate their death on the daily, then all of the ways that you can connect with me are in the show notes. I'll be back soon with some more Dead Conversations. And in the meantime, take good care of yourself and others.
There's a cold fire, there's a crossfire, and there's something inside, inside. And we'll never make it, and we'll never break it.